Eighth grade. It is Mr. Frazier. Today is Monday, April 20th. And this is your history video. It's going to be a little bit different. First of all, here's my face. But we are moving away from the keynote addresses that I was doing. I don't know if those helped. But this week, we're going to start meeting together using Zoom. And I'm recording in Zoom. And I think using Zoom is going to be really cool because we can do a bunch of different things. For one, you know what? I've just been so stressed out. I'm going to go relax on the beach. Any second. Hey, I'm relaxing on the beach. Or maybe we'll talk about chapter on space. I know, it's so lame. Anyways, that's obviously all just silly nothing, but we're going to be using Zoom, and I think it's going to be great because we'll get to see each other, we'll get to talk to each other, and this is going to be much better. This week, on Wednesday, we're going to have a little test. Friday, we're going to try and have a legit class. And then next week, we're going to start meeting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You're going to meet with Miss Alanis, and you're going to meet with me. I made kind of a short video last night about how to use Zoom. It's super easy. You just need the 10-digit code and the password, which is going to be on every parent letter. But please watch it if you don't understand. But you guys are smart enough. You can probably just figure it out by yourself. But if you can't, watch the video or contact me. Today is just going to be kind of a short video catching everybody up and talking a little bit about history and where we're going to go from here. First of all, we had a test last week that not everybody did. Anything that's from before spring break, that's third quarter, that's gone. You don't have to worry about that. That ship has sailed. Your grades are already done for all of that. Your parents all got your report cards. But anything from last week, we had 2 science assignments, history assignment and science test. All of that is still due. Technically, it was supposed to be done by yesterday on Sunday. But if you haven't done them, do it. I'll still accept it. If you're having trouble with Dropbox or your parents are using the computer or whatever, just take a picture of it. Take a picture and text me that picture. Email me that picture. You don't have to scan it, save it as a PDF, drop it to Dropbox. I don't need any of that. It's easy peasy. Anyway, so please, please, please do that at your earliest convenience. I have to say I've been really proud of how well you guys have been doing. This is an unprecedented situation. And, you know, I've been getting a lot of assignments. The assignments have been quality. Anyway, so you guys are doing really well. I know it's a tough time because it's like you're at home, so it's hard to get in that work mode, but you still got to do work. So anyways, very good work. All right, so we're going to jump into our brief history lecture. So we've been talking about England, and we talk about the Plantagenets and Alfred the Great before that, and the Anglo-Saxons and the Norman conquest. Then we left off talking about the Tudors, right? The Tudors, T-U-D-O-R-S, are Henry VII, who was Henry Tudor, who defeated Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth Field and seized the crown. His son, Henry VIII, with the extremely complicated love life, and Henry VIII's 3 children that ruled after him: Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I. Now, Elizabeth obviously is the big crowning achievement in all of the things that she did during the Elizabethan age. But there's still that lingering question of religion. So remember, England was Catholic like basically every country for 1,000 years. Then the Protestant Reformation kicks off in Germany with Martin Luther and the 95 Theses. Henry VIII initially comes out banging on Martin Luther. And he writes that book, In Defense of the Sacraments, 7 Sacraments. And the Pope's like, oh man, this guy's the best. And he gives him the title of Defender of the Faith. But then when Henry VIII needs to have a son, and his wife, Catherine, is just not doing it, he needs to get a divorce, remember? And Pope says, can't do it, man. She's got powerful family. And so he creates the Protestant church, the Anglican church, to get out of his marriage. Now, even though he may have done it for selfish reasons, the impact was just like huge, because back then there was no separation of church and state. The church was the state, and the state was the church. You could not separate them. The monarch, the ruler, whatever religion they were, that's who everybody was. And so when Henry VIII becomes a Protestant, that is for everybody. And this is about people's salvation they're talking about. So this is a big deal. And so it becomes a problem for all of the people that come to the throne after him, especially for the next 100 years. So remember, his son, Edward, is hardcore Protestant and goes even further. But then his daughter, Mary, who takes over after Edward dies as a young man, is hardcore Catholic, and it swings back. Then she kind of rules, and it's not very good. When she dies, her younger sister, Elizabeth, hardcore Protestant, swings back. And that's how things were for 45 years or however long Elizabeth reigns. Now, what we're going to talk about today is when she dies, remember, she's the Virgin Queen, so she doesn't have any children. So she can't make her son or daughter become the next Protestant king or queen of England. So who is going to rule? Now, you may or may not have watched the video that I put out last week about the other Mary, the Mary Stuart, the Queen of Scots. Well, she is the cousin of Elizabeth, and kind of awkward, but Elizabeth has her beheaded because she was trying to overthrow the crown, right? This is Game of Thrones type stuff. So Mary, Queen of Scots, she is beheaded, but her son, who's just a young man, becomes the King of Scotland, and he becomes James VI of Scotland. Now, he rules Scotland kind of so-so for the next couple of decades until Elizabeth dies, and there's this crisis. Who's going to be in charge now that good old Bess is good Queen Bess is dead? Who's going to rule? Well, the struggle was that England was very Protestant now. So if you can't just make anybody king, or else then it doesn't make it important. It has to be somebody who is of royal lineage. But most of the other royals around were Catholic, including James of Scotland. He's Catholic at heart, like his mother, but he had to convert to Protestantism to become the King of Scotland. And that's good enough for the English. And they say, hey, check it out. We got a deal for you. You convert fully, you're fully on board with Protestantism, and you will become king of both England and Scotland. And Scotland's an awesome country. I'm Scottish, partly. But England has always been the larger, wealthier nation on the island. And so for James, this is a no-brainer. He gets to become even richer and even more powerful. So he's still James VI of Scotland, but he also becomes James I of England. And that's the end of the Tudor dynasty and the beginning of the Stuart dynasty. And there's going to be 4 Stuarts, roughly. That kind of blends, but the 4 main guys are James, Charles, James. James I, Charles I, Charles II, James II. And they're all either brothers to each other or father and son. And religion is going to continue to be a problem, like we've been talking about. Because even though James confesses to be Protestant, in his heart of hearts, he's still Catholic. And so there's kind of this tension between the Protestant aristocracy, Parliament of England, and the Catholic hidden monarchy. And there's always going to be kind of this beef between them. We're going to see when we talk together in Zoom that this will break out into a full-on civil war. They'll even kill one of these kings because there's this idea between not only Protestant and Catholicism, but also in monarchy where the king rules absolutely, or this new idea of constitutionalism, right? Where parliament has rights like the Magna Carta we talked about. So this idea of religion being important, but also this idea of how much is the king in charge, right? In France, there was the absolute monarchy. If you remember, we talked about that. An absolute monarch could say, you know, I am the state. He says, you're dead, your land is mine. That's how it went. But constitutionally, there were laws. Yeah, the king was powerful, but he had to listen to those. So the king couldn't just kill anybody for no reason. So these two differing ideas, religion, but also power. The king gets the power from God, right? But if you disagree on what God wants, well, then you also disagree on how much the power he can give. And that's the main thing. So we're going to talk about the Stuart monarchy under James I, right, who was the grandnephew of Elizabeth. I always forget how those things work. And his short-lived dynasty and all of the problems that they have with Catholicism / Protestantism and absolute monarchy versus constitutional monarchy. It's all very complicated, but we're going to sift through it. That's the main thing. We're going to try and finish the chapter of England by next week, because we got to get moving on, because I want to get to globalization and World War II by the end of the year. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. Remember, Wednesday, we're going to try and figure out how to meet. So we're not going to have full-on lectures on Wednesday, but I want you to kind of try and practice how to use Zoom. And then on Friday, we're going to have legit classes. I think it's going to be great. Remember, if you can't make the class, like let's say we're having class at 10 o'clock, but your mom's using the computer to do her work or whatever, I will be posting all of these videos. So the videos from now on will no longer be the keynote address videos. They're going to be these kind of videos. But in the future, you'll have your classmates, kind of like the Brady Bunch pictures around. And all of the stuff we're going to be talking about is from your book. Please take your science test if you haven't taken it and send it to me. I won't charge you. I won't mark it off for being late. But it's going to be good. I can't wait to see you guys. Just catch up, see how you're getting through all this madness. And just see your faces and see how you're doing, what you're playing. All right. See you guys later. Bye.